Hi, I'm Mandy,
I'm Ben.
and this is Mandy's Mini. Hey everyone, today we're going to do brushless painting. That's right, we're painting without brushes.
Clickbait already.
Yeah.
Brushless painting.
Yeah.
How much money did I spend on the Winsor Newton brushes?
A lot.
Okay. And you want to spend? You want to paint without them?
Yeah.
Seriously?
Yes. Seriously.
We've done 3 videos. We're this desperate. You're resorting to clickbait now?
Yeah.
No. 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 I'm done. Nope. I'm done. I'm going home. No. Enough. Enough.
Wait, don't go. I actually have real reasons why you might want to try this and why we're doing this. Let's go. Okay, as I said, there are some really valid reasons why you might want to try this challenge yourself. And I'm going to go over those while we're painting. But first, the rules of the challenge.
Rules.
Rules.
Okay.
Pretty easy. Anything that is a brush or brush related, toothbrush, airbrush, is not allowed. Any other material you can think of, totally fine. And that's it. Those are your rules.
What put this in your head? What gave you this idea?
Actually, it was the idea of textures. Um, I had always heard steel wool was great for adding um, little scratches and things like that on armor. And I kind of thought to myself, well, what else would be good? As we went through, was it as difficult as you expected?
Not even remotely. Honestly, in a few places, I found it to be a little bit easier. It was just blob paint on and then move it around. I don't know, it just never works right for me with a brush, but somehow was with this.
Yeah, I was surprised when I got to edge highlighting. I was shocked at how easy edge highlighting without a brush was, because when I first learned it, I struggled with it, and that was with a brush. So the fact that it was easier without, kind of insane. Of course, I think the model had a lot to do with that as well, because I had a highly textured model.
You did, and your edges were really pronounced.
Very pronounced. And that's another thing that I would definitely recommend to anyone who's trying this. Use something that has more open space than I did. Mine was extremely textured, and one of the things that I thought I would get a benefit out of this was experimenting with different materials to make different textures on the Mini. But since it was an already textured model,
You didn't have any place to add texture.
not even a little bit.
Well, that was one of the things that surprised me a little bit was how quickly I discarded the idea of using anything stiff like the popsicle sticks, or we had some modeling tools um, that we had available, and just anything that didn't conform to the shape of that wouldn't allow itself to conform to the shape of the model was just a disaster.
Oh, I completely disagree.
Really?
Well, you said anything hard, and I actually was very pleased with how a toothpick was working. And then I was extremely pleased with how well I was able to paint with a pin.
Okay, but you were using those for very, very specific tiny spots, right? Detail
No,
spot application.
I was actually using the toothpick quite a bit
Oh,
once I
really?
realized how easy it was.
Oh, okay. Because I
So,
found that, I mean, I didn't use a toothpick. I rolled up a napkin into a very fine point, and that worked really well for detail areas.
I kept trying to use certain items that I thought would be easier, like cotton balls,
Hmm.
and just finding no real good use for it.
Yeah, the cotton balls did not work out real well. They were too stringy and left bits behind and just were difficult to control
Right.
and
It's
absorbed a lot of the paint instead of put it on the model.
a lot of the materials did that though.
This is very true. There is a distinct lack of control in this whole thing.
But I was also pleasantly surprised at glazing. And I did all the glazing of the skin with a Q-tip. And it was great because it was so absorbent. Gosh, I would equate it more to applying makeup. There is also a lot of times I had to go back and fix something that was already painted. What I found with the toothpick and with the pin when I use those is that you want to get quite a bit on there and then more just guide it to drip where you want it
Interesting.
than to actually place it.
Okay.
So I got to say, the one thing that we were both very surprised about and commented while we were doing it is how much we actually learned about how the paint moves and works.
Yeah, that was. There were things I realized that I never would have realized, if I was still using a brush.
And when you go back to brush painting, you think you're going to be better at that because of this?
I'd like to think so. I make no promises.
It will definitely make you appreciate your brushes more.
How did the inks work out for you?
Well, I actually only used the inks for the runes in the sword,
Oh, okay.
and with that, I actually used the syringe. I was actually very pleased with how the ink ran into the runes. I was just able to come back later with I think it was a Q-tip, and just do a quick like dry brush. But I gotta say, I'm pretty pleased considering no brush at all, and yet the runes still pop. I was able to still get eyes that look good and are even looking in the same direction. So now you tried painting with a straw by blowing the paint through the straw. And I was very upset with him because I told him I wanted to get a close up when he was doing that. But then he told me later on that it was already done. And the camera, of course, missed it.
Yes, it did. It actually did not work very well at all, and that's probably partly because I wasn't willing to, try and suck the paint up through the straw and get it all in my mouth. And yeah, that sounds seems gross.
Yeah, we are not brush lickers over
No,
here.
no, no,
So
no, 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 no.
yeah, I would actually say this is probably one of your better minis that you've painted,
Especially for without a brush.
especially for without a brush.
So, final thoughts. Would you do it again?
Yeah, I probably would.
Okay.
Not anytime soon. But I would definitely like to give it another go, try some other materials.
Maybe a
Um,
little bit smoother model.
yeah, definitely.
I would do it again just because it's different and keeps you on your toes and makes you think differently.
So it definitely puts a little bit of a new spin and, takes you out of your comfort zone.
Take that knowledge onto everything else you do, so that when you're painting with a brush, you can be less focused on I have this brush. It is the tool I have to use.
And do you think other people should try it?
Absolutely. Lots of people should try it, and they should put the pictures in the comments.
Definitely. Yep. So we're actually going to put out a challenge to the miniature painting community.
Paint without brushes and show off in the comments.
And while you're putting comments in there, don't forget to subscribe and like,
Ring the bell.
ring the bell, so you know when we post our next videos
Mm-hmm.
and possibly even our next challenge. So until next time, have fun.
And keep creating.
Bye.
Bye bye.